Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Arsenal 101. We are the panel today for the Premier League 101 review of week 1 of the Premiership. Hope you are all well. Neil, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, I'm doing good. Just trying to get back into the football and stuff after the athletics and all that sort of stuff. And it's been a long time coming, man. It was only like 3 months, but
I had
that
to
felt
say,
like 3 years, man.
I enjoyed every minute of that 3 months. As you know, I was away at the Olympics. Got to see some good action. I did get to see some footy while I was there. France versus Egypt in the semi-final. But I can't say I've been missing football. I've been enjoying so much else. Obviously, the world of boxing, which is one of my main sports, or my main sport, has been hella busy. The input of Turki Al Sheikh to the industry has brought so much reward in terms of good fights and good action. So, been seeing a lot of that. How's your summer been?
It's been all right, It's been all right. I haven't been up to much, to be honest. I've just been taking it easy, relaxing, taking in the sun, even though the sun's only kind of just got here. That's what it feels like. It's just got here.
Yeah, can't you see my tan?
Yeah, no. Mine is so dark that you can't even see me on this thing here. You know what I mean? I need to get a light, man. I need to get a light shining in my face. But I've been looking forward to the football, man. It's just withdrawal symptoms, man. Withdrawal symptoms. But it's here now.
Okay, I'm just trying to find Andy because I think he might have the wrong link. Because I sent a link about earlier, and I'm not sure if I sent the right one.
Didn't Apollo send it? Yeah, he sent it in the group. Well, I know he sent it to me personally, but I think he also put it in the group as well.
So I can't. He's not backstage, although he's saying he's backstage.
He's backstage with someone else.
Yeah. Here he is.
Cool.
I clicked on the link that you just put up.
Yeah, sorry, fella. I've got so much going on by way of channels that I put the wrong link in. So that was my error. So
come on, tell the truth. You didn't want him on the show, man. Spurs beat
No. I got some stuff to talk about with Spurs. So I'm glad I've got Andy in, and of course, I do appreciate that he's got that very intelligent lowdown for all the stuff, because to be completely honest, first week of the season went by. I watched Arsenal. I watched a few other bits and pieces, but nothing near as much as I probably want to do. For me, I'm gonna break it down like this. The next 7 days are absolute hell for me. I hate the fact that the next 7 days, every team is chopping and changing.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Imagine you started this season with a fantasy league team, as many of you may have done.
Yeah.
And you started with Ben Chilwell. And then you had Fabio Vieira. And then you put in
Sterling.
3 days into the season, them players ain't even playing in the Premier League anymore.
Sterling hasn't even got his number 7 shirt. That got stripped quickly, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just that whole thing of having the transfer window expire after the season starts, because it just means you just really don't know. So we're all saying, let's put a bet on this team to win the league. And then 2 days from now, that team buys some absolutely stupendous player. Let's just say Spurs went out and bought Nico Williams tomorrow, and who else could they possibly buy that could change things for them that much?
Eze.
Eze, which is feasible, right? Those two
No,
players.
because Daniel Levy won't play money.
But you see what I'm saying?
He'll offer 5 million a pack of chocolate buttons. But yeah,
we're trying to get our heads around the Premier League and say, okay, we've seen week 1. Cool. Week 2 is going to look hella different because Chelsea, no doubt, I've got another 11.
11? You sure it's
Yeah.
11? More
Let's
like
just say
22 or 44 or 66
Well, no.
players they're looking at.
I have to say they've done some tidying up, but essentially they could play a completely different 11, look completely different, and shock the entire league. And if they were to go in the next few days and get Victor Osimhen, which has been heavily touted now that Romelu Lukaku, who's completed his move to Napoli, it's all up in the air. So I don't know if you guys discussed your top 4 last week, but I'm pretty certain, based on what could happen in the next 7 days, your top 4 could change dramatically. And it looks like everybody is doing business.
Yep.
The amount of moves I've seen completed today is mind-numbing. Like, I'm looking at clubs and going, I'm just not getting this. But we've seen it before. We know this is what happens. We just got to get our heads around it. Bertram, welcome to the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. How are you, sir?
I am doing well. You sound like you have some personal problems with your team that you picked, and also with your top 4. I have no such problems. My players are still out there, so I'm not worried about it. You gotta pick players we know they're gonna move.
Andy, what's your feeling? How do you feel right now?
On what? What topic?
On the situation in the Premier League in general, but I guess more importantly, where your club sits right now in terms of transfer business done, potential transfer business that could be done, and where you see what all the other clubs are doing. Obviously, Chelsea are buying players left, right, and centre.
Tony, at the moment, I'm trying to read your lips because I can't hear anything. I don't know why.
I can always.
I'll come out. I'll come back in again. All right.
I can answer for Andy.
Go ahead, Cranky.
I think Andy's in a good place with his team. They bought Solanke, which is their big acquisition.
Right? He's now injured.
They have sold people like Skip for 25 million. Well, he's not a long-term injury. He has an ankle injury, right? They said probably a week. He probably come off a Newcastle game. So they sell Skip for 25. Please explain to me how Skip can go 25 and we're haggling about Nketiah for 30. Can somebody explain that to me? I'm confused. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And Borja went for 30 million. Why are we arguing? Like, why is Arsenal selling so low? Anyway, this is about Spurs. No, but I do think they're in a good place. They have a good team. They have a balanced team. They probably need. I don't know what they need actually, to be honest. Maybe probably another winger, because I'm not convinced by Brendan Johnson, and maybe another defender in the center. Though they have the Romanian, but they have a good team.
They have a lot of defenders, though, right?
But are they good? There's a difference between having a lot of defenders.
I think one of the best. I mean, let's just put it this way: Pedro Porro had some amazing stats this last week.
When Udogie got injured last year, they had no left back replacement that was competent enough, right? They struggled when he got injured. So I know what Pedro Porro does and Udogie does. They're pretty good. They play the inverted, but think about their center half, for example. They have the Romanian there. And they have Romario and the Dutch, but who else do they have really?
So I think
Van
der Ven to me is as good a centre half as any centre half in the country.
I disagree.
To me,
I disagree.
I'm
sorry, they're levels. They're levels. He's good, but they're levels. He didn't even start for Holland in the Euros. They're levels. He didn't start for Holland in the Euros.
So, Andy, my point to you was basically with 7 days left of the transfer window going, how do you feel about Tottenham's position in relation to the business they've done so far in the window, the business that they could do, and how do you feel about the way everybody else is currently just going ballistic in terms of purchases.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation with Spurs because Spurs are basically doing a massive rebuild. If you look at the turnover of players since Postecoglou's come in, he has shipped out 12, 13, 14 players that were there last year and brought in a similar number. We've made a massive amount of purchases, but we've been buying a lot of young talent. Archie Gray, Lucas Bergvall, Wilson Odobert. These are all teenagers. Spent quite a bit of money on young talent for the future. Our academy has been doing incredibly well. Under 20, under 17s, under 18s, under 21s, all been winning things. And I think Postecoglou is building for the future. And he's looking to bring a lot of those players through. The Solanke deal is the only deal that is basically buying someone that's a ready-made, established player. That's the only time. And I believe we've spent a lot of money in the hope that Solanke is ready to explode. Whether that's going to happen or not, none of us knows. He's at the right age of his career, but he's had one good season in the Premier League. That was last season with Bournemouth. So he might well do it, and he could be ready to go and score 20, 25 for Spurs this season. But you're taking it on trust. There's a chance, but it's a lot of money we've spent in the hope. I personally would have preferred Tony. That's what I would have spent the money on. But these guys know more than I do, and I trust in Postecoglou that he's got Solanke in for the right reasons.
Talk to me about the player on the screen.
Porro.
Yeah.
Well, he's excellent. I still think he is a little bit susceptible defensively, but in the system we play, that is going to happen. But in terms of creation, he creatively, he's great for us and going forward. And he's scored a few goals in the last sort of season or so, and obviously scored on Monday night. Why we didn't score more on Monday night, who knows? We should have done. We should have been out of sight. But you knew, because we didn't get the second goal, I knew that Vardy was going to get an equaliser at some point. It was just like, being a Spurs fan, you just know that's going to happen. And it was what I was disappointed, particularly with Spurs. Anyone can score a goal. We conceded a goal. If you watch that goal back, and I've sung Romero's praises a lot, and I do believe he's a world-class defender, top-class defender. But if you watch that goal, Romero wanders straight past Jamie Vardy, like he's standing behind Vardy, wanders right in past him, goes in front to attack the ball for no reason when there was other players there to do it, and leaves Vardy completely on his own behind him. And the ball goes over his head, and Vardy just heads it into an empty net. And so I'm like, Romero, what are you doing? I don't understand what he was doing. Lots of other people have been criticised about their performances, but there's a few people, I think the leaders, Son had a horrendous game against Leicester. I don't know what he was doing. But if you say anything like that, Spurs fans, you get called Judas for criticising Son. But he hasn't done much, to be honest, since he came back from the Asian Games in February. Heung-min Son's been poor.
So go on, Andy.
Sorry?
No, I was going to say, this season's only one game in anyway. So
yeah,
make those decisions. Comments now. I say just give them next 5-6 games, and then make those sort of comments.
Absolutely. I'm not one for knee-jerk reactions. I mean, Son has been brilliant for Spurs for 8 years, and he's had a bit of a dip in form. That is true. End of last season, and on Monday night,
every player does that.
Every player does it, exactly. And that doesn't mean I don't like Son. I think he's fantastic. He's been brilliant for the club. So, and I'm hoping that he'll come out of a little slump, and to a couple of games he'll be banging the goals in again. That'd be great. But I'm what concerns me most about Tottenham is I think we lack leaders. I think Spurs have a bit of a problem, a bit like Arsenal had a couple of years ago, I think, where we've got a lot of very, very good players in the squad, and then we have a deeper squad than we've had before. But we don't. It seems like when they equalised Leicester, a top-class team would have taken that game by the scruff of the neck again and gone back and won the game 2-1 or 3-1 or whatever. But Spurs looked lost. Leicester equalised, and Spurs were like, well, everyone's looking at each other like, well, what are we doing now then? And I'm like, that worries me. I want to see somebody take hold of the team and drive the team forward and do it. Now, it's one game. We drew 2 at Brentford first game last season and then won 8 of the next 9. So, we might go out and thrash Everton tomorrow. We might not. But, so there's a lot to come.
Cool.
We'll wait and see.
Let's move on quickly before you get any further into your story.
Right.
Neil, how are you doing, by the way, Neil?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good. Let's talk about Liverpool. Who did you play last week?
Played Ipswich.
And it was a 2-0 win, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a 2-0 win. Let's not talk about the first half because
Ipswich were fantastic in the first half.
No, I'm not taking anything away from Ipswich because they did well, but we looked like we did not have a clue in that first half. It was a game of two halves. I mean, yes, the saying is it's a game of two halves. We literally did not do much in the first half. We looked so poor. We looked lost. We didn't know what we were doing, and we were getting caught out by Ipswich. As I said, I'm not taking anything away from Ipswich because they played really well in the first half, and they kind of ran out of steam in the second half. So for me, it's an issue of pacing your players out, and they just went for it in the first half. They looked really good in the first half, but on the other side of it, we were poor in the first half. Second half, thanks to Jota and Salah, we got our goals. And we looked a lot better. And as I said, we were completely different. We played really well in the second half. I just hope that tomorrow, game against Brentford, we actually come out fighting in the first half and not leave it till the second half again, because Brentford will probably score a couple of goals if Tony has his way.
That's if he plays.
Yeah, if he plays. I'm hoping he doesn't, obviously, but you never know. But yeah,
having said that, you better watch out for this fella.
Yeah. Oh, do you know right? He's the one that really scares me in that side, because he does well at almost every game. He does really well.
I think you guys are disrespecting Wissa acting.
Sorry?
I think you're disrespecting Wissa acting, because I think he's been playing really well. Quick, mobile, link up well. I think that's why they're not really stressed about Tony, frankly, because he's been playing well.
Yeah, I wasn't disrespecting Wissa.
You say a word about Tony and this guy. You mentioned nothing about Wissa.
Yeah.
So
It's like I'm saying about two people.
One game, yeah. Everybody's played one game.
So let's talk about this guy. I mean, the
new haircut, man. The new haircut.
Yeah. I mean, it's just phenomenal what he's done, and I think he deserves his flowers because he's obviously been praised for, his achievements in the league over the time that he's been in the league since 2017. Obviously looking at.
The funny thing is, he was so poor at Chelsea. And when he first came to LFC, I thought, what the hell are we doing? Because we've had a couple of players from Chelsea in the past and they flopped. And I just thought, this guy is just going to flop and we're probably going to have him for one season and then get rid of him. I am so glad I was so wrong.
So Neil, I have a question for you. How you know he was poor at Chelsea?
He didn't do much.
He didn't get no game time. Or did Moreno playing? What game time did he get?
Mourinho didn't fancy him, did he?
Right,
He didn't, when he did play, he didn't impress me. He just didn't impress me.
But they said he was good in practice and De Bruyne was good in practice. But you know how Mourinho is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right? Think
first,
about it. De Bruyne and Salah, two of the best players in Premier League history, went through Chelsea, supposedly failed, and look where they ended up. Because De Bruyne said, "I'm not waiting. I'm going to play football because I'm good enough," and Salah didn't get a lot of game time.
You know, for me, what I always say is, every player has a certain team they're going to play well for, really well for. Yeah, and Chelsea wasn't the team for those guys. It wasn't the team for them.
Well, I think it's like Chelsea now, right? You have a lot of good players, right? And the question is, who does the manager favor? Who does the manager think fits his or her style?
We know who he doesn't favor, innit?
Right. So I mean, just think about De Bruyne as a footballer, period. I mean, just think of and Salah. Salah is probably the best winger in Premier League history. I'm gonna make that statement.
Wow.
Best winger in Premier League history. I said winger. I didn't say centre forward with Shearer and Kane and Henry. Tell me a better winger than Salah in Premier League history. His numbers speak for themselves. They're ridiculous for a winger.
Yeah.
Those are centre forward numbers. They're not winger forward numbers. They're ridiculous. They're ridiculous. So I think Mourinho is to blame for both of them, as far as I'm concerned. When you're younger, frankly, probably didn't mature as a player. But you can't. But Chelsea used to buy up everybody. People forget how much loan people they had out loaning. They even forget some people they sent out on loan.
Yeah, but they're not doing anything different now, are they?
No, well, it's a little bit different buying them more. They're just buying everybody and everywhere. It's crazy.
They've always done that. When they've had the opportunity, they've always done that. It's just it hasn't worked out for them. Well, we'll have to see if it works out for them this season.
So I have a question for Andy. Would you take Sterling at Spurs?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, I don't rate Brendan Johnson. I'm going to admit, I don't rate Brendan Johnson.
I would take Sterling in a heartbeat, but I can't see Levy paying the wages that he would command.
You don't have to pay half of it. You can pay half of it and get away with it. What Chelsea going to do? You pay half. You say I'm taking half. I pay 200,000, 150. You pay the rest, Chelsea. You don't want to, you keep him.
Yep.
You got to cut your losses.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. But personally, I would. I don't see Spurs doing it, to be fair. But I would. Yes, I think Sterling is an upgrade on what we have.
Yeah, I don't know why you paid 40 million for Brendan Johnson.
No, neither. I don't either. But to be fair to him, he's young. He has got room to develop, and he does show in flashes. He does show a lot of quality in flashes, but it is in flashes. I don't see consistent 90-minute performances from him, and I want to see more from him. And he's going to have to do it this season, because if he doesn't do it this season, I can't see us keeping hold of him too much longer.
Should he be playing over Kulusevski?
Sorry?
Should Kulusevski be playing instead of him?
It's funny. It depends what Postecoglou wants to do. They offer different things. Brennan Johnson will stretch teams more than Kulusevski will, but Kulusevski has more quality than Johnson in the final third. Kulusevski's more likely to open a team up than Johnson is. But if you're playing on the break, then Johnson's going to get room in behind. Then, yes, he's going to offer problems with his pace. My problem with Johnson is his final delivery isn't fantastic at the moment.
What final delivery? It's like Doku.
Well,
it's like Doku,
exactly.
18 and forget what they need to do.
Well, I think Doku's pretty good personally, but yeah, okay.
No, Doku is brilliant. I'm telling you, he gets to the 18.
More potential.
You watched him last week beat 3 players. Look, I love his game. Don't get me wrong, right? You just got to get a footballing brain in the final 18. He go into 18, he beat 3 people. He get to the byline. What does he do? The goal is open, and he crosses it back to a defender.
Yeah.
Like, he cannot be covered one-on-one or one-on-two, frankly.
Yeah, but
you need a player like that to create space for other players.
Yeah, but you got to give him time. Yeah, you got to give him time. He's young.
I've been watching for a little while now. It's not the first year I'm seeing him.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is he's young.
He was playing for Belgium before. He was on the bench for a while. Yeah. I was wondering who the kid is so skillful.
He's still young though, you know. He's got a lot to learn, and he will learn it over time.
Well, I hope he does.
I think he will. I see so much potential in that player.
Because I see Savino the other day, and even though he came off injured, I was impressed.
Yeah, Savino's good. Looks good.
He looks ridiculous. Yeah. He was kidding Cucurella. Maybe that's saying a lot about Cucurella, but
it's funny you should mention him. So let's talk about Savinho, because I mean, I know it's like many players that we're seeing coming into the Premier League, and I guess it's not just the Premier League where this is happening, because you know you can look at like Real Madrid and they've got Endrick, and You look at, you know, Barcelona, and they've got players in their squad that you're like, who's this? Who's that? Football right now appears to be buoyant with youngsters, and they're coming from everywhere. They're coming from Far East, they're coming from Europe, they're coming from Eastern Europe, they're coming from South America. You know, we're just being bombarded with young players who are showing excess you know, ability right now. You know, I think this year, you know, even though we've only got a week, we could have one of the most exciting Young Player of the Year award ceremonies going, because I think we've got a whole bag of players. Anyone want to mention some of the players that they've seen? I mean, Neil, you've got a shed load in your squad.
Yeah, and we also got rid of a few as well. So I mean, where do I start? I'm just trying to. Oh, what is his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Left back plays in Arnold's place. Not Bobby Clark.
You mean right back?
Right back. Sorry.
Yeah, he played last year. His dad died.
Yeah. Do you know? I just can't remember his name. I can see his face.
Yeah. He's a better defender than Trent.
Yeah, he's definitely. Look, everybody's a better defender than Trent. Salah's a better defender.
Who are you talking about?
The young Bradley.
Yeah.
Ben Bradley. Yeah.
Couldn't remember his name. But he has a lot of potential. He's gonna, I think, in a couple seasons. Yeah, we'll be saying Trent who. We'll be saying Trent from a defensive point of view. We'll be saying Trent who, because Trent's great at forward. He's great at the set pieces. He's great at crosses. He doesn't defend. Whether he wants to, whether it's in his mind, whether he's got the brain, I couldn't tell you. I just know when he's on the pitch and he's supposed to be defending, he's just totally poor.
You need Trent on one side and Zinchenko on the other side. If you want to let him go.
But Cranky, who do you think out of the young kids, let's say under 22, who's caught your eye so far? And I know it's a small window, but
Savino was the big deal for me this weekend. I'd never seen him play before. I know his stats a little bit. Last year when he was in Spain, I was shocked at how he was just skinning. Not only was he skinning Cucurella, whoever came over, he still went by them. And he went left and he went right. It's not like he just did like Saka does, just drift down and go inside left. He was like, okay, there's nobody in front of me. He had one or two defenders like, I'm just going to go forward. You can't stop me, no matter what you think. So before he got injured, I just thought, damn, City has done it again. They didn't spend that much money for him. And they have got a brilliant player. That's why I'm thinking, is Grealish going to go back to Villa or something? Because there's no game in that side if these kids are playing the way they are. We wouldn't know in Arsenal about any young players because Arteta doesn't play young players. So we would have no idea about anyone nearest of the world or any other player because he doesn't play them. And they're going to keep on leaving. I think I'm just trying to think through the teams. We didn't see anybody from Liverpool per se, right? Kwanzaa played, but he got pulled off because his manager says he was losing most of the duels he was getting involved in.
He was.
I'm just thinking about all the teams. I didn't see a lot. There were a couple. Hutchinson to me from.
What about this kid on the screen? Did you see this kid on screen?
Yeah, I did see.
Yeah, he did absolutely nothing. He was poor actually in the first half. But then
Odigi, he wasn't skinning him. Odigi was winning those battles until late in the game.
Well, he played much better in the second half. The last half an hour, 35 minutes, he came to life because I don't know what happened to Spurs. It's like we went out with a light out with a light when Vardy equalised, and it was very strange performance because we should have been five. We should have been 5 up.
I think it was a confidence thing. The second half after Vardy's goal, you saw everyone had confidence. Everyone wanted to be on the ball, and they played. Really well.
Absolutely. I think Leicester paid us too much respect in the first half. They were scared of us, and they sat back, and it allowed us to get into a rhythm. And we should have finished them off in the first half, but we didn't. And therefore, they took their chance, and then they got a bit of a bit of a momentum up, and we just faded, which was worrying from our point of view.
Oh, man, you lot fell apart. I couldn't believe how you fell apart as well.
Yeah, it wasn't great to watch.
I mean, Vardy probably could have scored a second goal. Very good goal by the keeper, but Richarlison had a goal in the last kick of the game to score. We had a few chances, but we didn't. I don't think the quality of our chances was great. We had quite a number of chances, but I don't think you'll see our XG was very high because the chances we created were sort of half chances and sort of semi-decent chances, whereas Leicester created 2 brilliant chances. So it was a bit of a. He got actually. He probably should do better with that one. The one where the keeper kicked the ball out and he rushed the shot. If he takes his time, keeper's not getting back in the goal. Yeah. Yeah.
No, Solanke should have scored on his debut. He had a diving header which he should have put away, and then another shot. But we've got some great young talent. Watch out for Lucas Bergvall. He's 18 years old. He came on a sub the other night. He is top class. He is going to be a big star. I'm absolutely certain of it.
Actually, I didn't think he.
Sorry?
I'm not sure he was that good. Didn't Gray come on also?
Gray came on and Bergvall came on. Yeah.
I didn't see much of Bergvall. I didn't think he looked that good when he first came on.
I thought he was excellent when he came on, but okay. I thought he was excellent when he came on Monday night, and also when he came on against Bayern Munich, played against Bayern Munich, he was very good in the pre-season. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how much game time he gets. But he's quite an exciting player. I imagine he'll be brought on as sub for Maddison in most games. I imagine is what's going to happen. I was a bit surprised he took Maddison off the other night because Maddison had a pretty good game the other night. And if you're looking for a winner, why are you taking your most creative player off? It's a bit of a strange decision.
I think it's injury management. You see a lot of coaches did that the first game. Watkins came off at the 60. I think they're concerned about first game of the season, and Maddison's injury record is probably a concern. Yeah,
no, I mean Postecoglou knows better than me, so that may well be the reason behind it. So I've got faith in the big man, but I want to see an improvement tomorrow because we've got to be more clinical. If we're going to challenge for anything, we've got to be more clinical than we were on Monday night. Right? Got Basuma back, but we've got no Bentancur because he went off with a concussion injury, and so he can't play tomorrow because he's got to have 6-7 days before he's allowed to play again. And we've got no Solanke. Solanke came off with an ankle injury and he's out tomorrow.
So Basuma, you're good to go.
He's come in for one game. He played every game for Bournemouth last season, all 38. And he plays one game for Spurs. Now he's out injured. So so we've got Basuma and probably Odobert coming in, but no Bentancur and no Solanke, which is a bit of a blow.
You wouldn't start Richarlison for Solanke?
Well, I think that's possible, although he's missed a lot of pre-season with an injury. So Kulusevski played as a false 9 in a lot in pre-season, so he may bring Kulusevski in. I don't know, but because it's Everton, I suspect because it's Everton, he might give Richarlison the game. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Tony, you're mute.
Thank you very much. Big up to D-Dubs in the house. Hopefully we'll be seeing you tomorrow on the watch along. Big up to my brother Anthony Roberts. Hope you're well, bro. So yeah, we've let's talk a little bit about some of the other games this weekend that we've seen. Top of the table currently, if I just grab this quickly, is Brighton. Brighton had a good win at the weekend. Who wants to start me off with a review of the Brighton result?
Well, they were really good at Everton. They play with a very high press. But Sailor's a kind of Klopp disciple. He plays in the same style as Jurgen Klopp, very high press. And they've had a very good pre-season, Brighton, and they looked really, really good against Everton. And they've got United tomorrow, so that'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's the morning kickoff or the afternoon kickoff at 12:30 at Brighton. So that's going to be an interesting game. I think that's going to be a very good game to watch tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, I do.
It'll be interesting to see how this new restructured Man United team, who I actually feel like, they could do something this season, Man United.
They didn't look great against Fulham, but they got the result though. They got the result.
Yeah.
That's the Man United whole, though, isn't it? Looking bad, getting the result. So,
and Tony, what do you think Man U is going to do?
I just think they've bought well. I think they've got a decent squad. With some of the players that they've brought in, De Ligt. I think they're just finalising the deal now for Ugarte, Mazraoui.
That would be a good signing. Do you think De Ligt is going to cut it in the Premier League? I've got my doubts about him.
He failed at Juventus. He failed at Bayern. They were bringing to the Premier League, which was supposed to be tougher. I have to see that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I mean, obviously, the fact that he went to Bayern and he was outed by Eric Dyer does make me think, is he still got what it takes?
Well, my point precisely, yeah. I mean, I would be concerned if I was Man United, spending that kind of money on De Ligt.
Yeah.
He's a quality football player, and he was great. Whether he's suited to Premier League, the pace and the power of the Premier League, I don't know. I'll be interested to see how he does coming up against, pacey centre forwards and physical centre forwards. That'd be quite interesting to see.
If you're moving 3 times in about 5-6 years, and you're not moving because you were trying to move to make more money, I don't understand that. I don't get that. Right? You moved to Italy to Juventus, big team. They're saying, you know what, not working out in Italy. You go to Bayern, Eric Dyer. Maybe Eric is good. Maybe Eric got better. Eric got better. Eric got you. You can't get over Eric. I don't get it.
Dyer does actually look all right. He does actually look good.
Eric Dyer is a decent central defender in a team that doesn't play with a high line. Yeah. But if you're playing with a high line like Postecoglou wanted to, then Eric Dyer doesn't work because he's got no pace. But Eric Dyer, when he was playing for Mourinho and we were sitting on the edge of our box waiting for a counter-attack, Eric Dyer was fine. He was great. But he's not great. He's not great to play for a manager that wants to play with a high press. It doesn't work. So,
if you're mainly trying to get top 4 football, is the answer. That's the question.
And let's not forget, your Cranky, you named your player of the game last week for Man United as the new striker, Joshua Zirkzee.
Of course, he came on and scored in no time. There weren't a lot of players there that stand out. So who was he going to pick?
It was a nice finish as well.
Yeah, he came in.
It was a nice finish.
No, look, he didn't start for Holland in the Euro, which I found interesting. When you have people like what's his name without a club starting, he's really mixed up actually. Your centre half Andy didn't start for Holland. Zirkzee didn't start for Holland. They didn't get a ton of game time. They got some. Your centre half got some game time, Andy, but Zirkzee didn't get a lot of game time. So it's interesting. They're going to be number 1 striker. Well, he's not number 1 for Man U, but he's at least the 2nd striker for Man U. So we'll see what happens. He looks like he's a good player, though. But the Premier League is a different league. It's a different league.
So let's talk about Arsenal very briefly, because I don't want us to hog the show like we could do. But obviously, it's been a great week for the Arsenal. We've now secured the purchase of Mikel Moreno, who I think is going to be a huge asset to the team. I think the signing of Moreno should strike fear in most other teams. To think that we were so close to Manchester City last year, and we've now added 2 significant assets to the team. I mean, in all honesty, did we need Calafiori? Maybe not, but I'm happy.
He has depth. He gives you depth.
He does. You're absolutely right there. But the addition of Moreno, to me, is significant because, to me, he's a first-team player. He's a player that walks into our team. Once he gets acclimatized, he becomes an integral part of the team. And then, obviously, we'll wait and see over the next 7 days whether Arsenal go out and buy a killer up front, whether that be a winger or a striker. I don't mind. I know what Arteta would prefer to do, somebody who could play across the three. And that player, to me, would be a player who's played with Mourinho and Odegaard. You know who that is, right? Alexander Isak. Because the three of them played together at Sociedad.
Well, I think if you got Isaac, I would be really, really worried.
Yeah. So he's the kind of player. Obviously, there've been links with other players, but I'm very happy with what Arsenal did last week. I think we gently came back in. We brought our players in. We got ourselves a level of fitness. And
you weren't great last week. You won the game.
No.
And you weren't great. I watched your game.
I don't think anybody was last week. But this is the thing. I think you look at the first game and you go, look, the most important thing is get the result. Yeah. The pattern of play in certain parts of the game was good. There were some errors. You had some really dominant spells, but Wolves had before you got the second goal, Wolves had a really good spell for the beginning of the second half. Wolves were very good for about the first 20, 25 minutes of the second half and could have equalised, but they didn't. And then you got the second goal and that killed it off. And as with most things, you what you say about Spurs is probably what I'd say about Arsenal. Look, first day, take the result. There's more to come. And
that was the difference.
Yeah,
we played the stimuli as well as you, but you got the result and we didn't. That was the crucial thing, and that's what worries me about Spurs is that often we don't get the results that we should get, and we're going to have to address that if we want to challenge for anything.
So our issue is our slow start, and we did that quite a few games last season as well. And to do
so let's not talk about Liverpool yet because I ain't finished with Arsenal. So as you can see,
Tony wants to talk about the Giants.
The Giants, yeah. I mean, look, I could go back 5 or 6 years and we were a team of midgets. But now you look at us and you're like, wow, the shortest player one of our shortest players in amongst our team actually happens to be our goalkeeper, which is interesting. But look, we had 16 corner goals last year, and we've added 2 giants in Marino at 6-1 and Calafiori at 6-1. It's daunting. The other thing that was pleasing from Arsenal's perspective this week was the fact that the PFA awards were given out, and Arsenal had 5 players in that team, the team of the year for last year. That was an amazing achievement, I felt, and something that those players that were given the awards, which surprisingly excluded Bukayo Saka, those guys have got to be, so confident now, knowing that, they're being given the plaudits that they deserve.
Just out of interest, which 5 was it? Saliba,
Odegaard, Gabriel Magalhaes, Declan Rice, and Kai Havertz.
Kai Havertz? Okay.
No, it's not Havertz. It's Raya.
Raya, sorry, yeah.
Okay, Raya, yeah. All right. That makes more sense.
Yeah.
I would say this, actually. I wasn't impressed about last week, by the way. I was not impressed with us for a number of reasons. We need a 9. We keep going around in circles.
I can't believe you still haven't bought a centre forward. I can't believe it.
Like this thing about Havertz has scored so many goals. I watch him play. Good footballer. Doesn't have a position on the field. Really good footballer. Doesn't have a real position on the field. Just like Smith Rowe didn't. But they're good footballers. Right? They're beautiful to watch. Good touch. Good movement. Doesn't have a real fixed position on the field. So what happens when Marina comes in? Are we benching Partey? Because Declan Rice is going to play.
Do you know what? It's interesting because I think I might have heard you mention this. To me, he slots straight into Declan Rice's spot in the 8, and you keep playing Partey at the 6.
What do you do with Declan Rice?
Declan Rice is
a good problem to have.
Declan Rice is a nice player, But let's not.
You're not going to leave out £100 million player. It's not going to happen.
Exactly. Not happening.
How much was Jack Grealish?
It's not going to happen.
No.
It won't happen at Arsenal.
No. Tony.
How much was Mikhailo Mudryk?
Tony. This is Pep Guardiola and Declan Rice in the team of the year last year in the EPL. I'm telling you, Partey's on the bench. He did it when Rice first came in. He put Partey at right back. You forgetting that? He's putting Partey on the bench.
I'm gonna say it now. I look. I don't mind if Rice plays the 6 or Partey plays the 6. But if I have a choice out of those two players and Partey's fit, I'm playing Partey.
Tony. You and I have no say in this, but we don't disagree. We have no say in this. Let me say this, people. Last week, I see Fernandes play for Chelsea. He was the worst player on the field. He played the entire game. He cost £105 million. That's how it goes. He was the captain. He was horrible. The coach, to me, didn't impress me. And Kungu goes to 10. You put Neto outside. That's their team. He played Fernandes in the 10 for the whole game, and he had no idea what he was doing. He's lost. And you say, these are the brilliant coaches we have in the Premier League? Like, really? What the hell are you doing? And you talking about I'm on YouTube, I don't know football. I know better than what you just did. Even I know better. I don't know anything about football.
Yeah. So while I'm on the subject of the Players of the Year awards this week, I'm just going to quickly give the flowers to all those who received it. Andy, you'll be pleased to see Grace Clinton was the recipient of the Young Players PFA Player of the Year. Andy, do you want to say a little about Grace? Do you know much about her?
Do you want me to be honest? I know nothing about her.
Okay, fine. No problem. The
Tottenham is getting better, by the way. Tottenham is investing in their
Tottenham are investing in their young team.
Right,
And in fact,
move actually.
we both Andy and I know a player who plays there because Colin Williams' daughter plays there. And she used to come and watch us play every week when we play together.
And she wasn't affected by that?
Yeah.
Luckily not by me. I mean, Andy, I gotta say, if you watched Andy play, you might have a few questions about his mouth, but he could bang a goal. There's no doubting about that.
Tony.
He talk and score at the same time.
Khadija Shaw for Man City.
No, Bunny Shaw.
Known as
She's
Bunny,
yeah? She's Jamaican, yeah? She's not Khadija. Nobody uses their real name information, yeah? Bunny
Shaw.
Bunny, yeah?
Scored an absolutely stupendous amount of goals last season in the Premier League.
I watched her quite a bit because I was trying to catch up with some of the women's football, and she was impressive, man. She was impressive.
Tony, when she played in the World Cup, missed a trick. She was facing up forward, no balls going to her. She's good on the ball. Why you put her in the midfield so she can touch the ball once in a while? She didn't score a goal in the last 2 World Cups. She played it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And she's the best player on the field. Why are you wasting her center forward? Because she ain't gonna touch the ball. Coaches just set in their mind when they think about doing stuff.
And then for the men, the Young Player of the Year award went to Cole Palmer. Any thoughts on those guys? Anybody think somebody else was more deserving of that?
Nah.
Can't argue with Palmer.
With that.
It's funny because he left Man City, didn't he? I mean, they got 40. They got 40 mil for him actually. But if he was patient, would he have gotten in the team and probably played Lucas' position on the right?
I was going to say that if he had stayed at City, he wouldn't have won that award.
Yeah.
The question: would he have got enough game time? That's the question. Right?
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And
I think Alvarez is going to do well at Atletico as well this season.
Yeah, I think so too. He's a good player.
And then again, the men's player of the year, Phil Foden. Guys, what are our thoughts on that one?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was a bust in the Euro, though. He was awful.
Yeah, he was awful in the Euros. But he was brilliant in the Premier League last year.
Yep.
Excellent. So we're all happy with that. So we'll move on. Last weekend's game, let's see at the table. Liverpool are in third. They had a nice, easy 3-0 win, as you said, against Ipswich. Man City, yes, sir, 3-0.
So wait, why is Liverpool in third now? And Man City in fourth? Why is that? It's just a numbering because they both have the same goal difference, doesn't it?
Arsenal,
Yeah.
Liverpool, and City are level, aren't they? They're just joint second. Three of them.
Alphabetical order.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's always you always do alphabetical order, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all that is. Alphabetical order. Then
Hopefully
we've
it
got
stays that way for
Villa.
the season. Then we just move Brighton out. Hopefully it stays that way. We just move Brighton out.
Then we got Brighton. Then we got Aston Villa, who had a good win.
They played really well at West Ham.
West Ham, yeah. The battle of the Claret and Blues.
We have them this weekend. They beat us twice
And then
last
we
week.
face them tomorrow, absolutely, in what will be a highly anticipated game because, of course, Emery destroyed the Premier League dream for Arsenal last year with 2 wins, the only team to get the double over Arsenal last year. Look, the stories continue to mumble in the background. People continue to say Unai Emery is a better coach than Mikel Arteta. Neil and Andy, who are non-Arsenal fans, what's your thoughts on that particular subject?
Okay, realistically,
You go first, Neil.
Realistically, I do think he's a better coach. Yeah, but the thing is, it's not about the coach. You've also got to look at the team as well. You guys have a much better squad. You have a much better squad. Arteta's not a bad manager. I think he's a really good manager anyway. He's come over the past couple of seasons. He's come into his own. Yes, he's had a lot of doubters, especially from the Arsenal faithful. But come on, man, he's proved his worth. He's proved his worth. Give him another few seasons, and maybe he will be better than Emery. But I think Emery's better at the moment.
Okay, Andy, what's your thoughts?
Okay, so people think I've got a downer on Arteta. I don't have a downer on Arteta. I think Arteta is a very competent, very good manager. Do I think Arteta is elite? No. Arteta, for me, doesn't sit at the table with Guardiola and Klopp and 1 or 2 others. All right? He doesn't sit there. He is a very good manager. My view with Arteta is when the chips are really down, when the pressure is on, Arteta makes mistakes. Like, I believe that when you really needed to win games the season before, when you could have won the league, and last season when you could have won the league, like Villa at home, if you'd have won that game, you'd have won the league, right? And I believe he got it wrong in that game. That was a flat performance. Now, you can blame the players as well, but it was a flat performance, and Arteta didn't have any answers to change the dynamic on the day. And that's what great managers do. They find a way, like Guardiola, consistently, time and time again, finds a way, even if City aren't playing particularly well, finds a way to get something out of his team to get the result. I'm still not completely convinced that Arteta's got that in his makeup. I might be proven wrong, and if he goes and wins the Premier League this year, I'll hold my hand up. But
the thing you
I
could
still
say against that, Andy, is last year Arsenal got 4 points out of Man City.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I accept that. But I mean, it didn't when it really mattered. City won and Arsenal didn't. You know when you know that.
Yeah.
Really, Arsenal,
as they're supposed to do when they're built the way they are.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but if you remember that game, you remember the game at City. I think you got a 0-0 draw at City.
That's correct. Yeah.
Right. That day, City were way off it, and you could have gone there and taken 3 points off them, and you would have probably won the league if you'd have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
I agree.
But I think Arteta played it
think-
cautious that day. He played it cautious.
But then you don't go gung ho at Man City. You have to be cautious.
Spurs did.
They're one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league, in the world.
Spurs have repeatedly gone gung ho at City and got more points against Manchester City than anyone else in the Premier League era.
Then last year.
Not last year, but we got a 3-3 draw there last year. We drew 3-3. But what I mean is we always have a go at City.
Yeah.
And it didn't work at home, but we probably didn't want it to work at home because we didn't want you to win the title. But but yeah, I mean that also cost us Champions League as well, I know. So we won't go there.
Let me jump into the.
So let me say this actually. I'm not sure it's a fair comparison actually, because both Guardiola, Emery, and Klopp have been managing for much longer than Arteta. Arteta said that be managing.
Yes,
it's like what,
I believe
5 years?
Arteta. If Arteta continues on his curve, he may well get there one day, but he's not at the moment. He's not there.
What he's done really well is plagiarize Pep, which worked really well. His team bought 6 centre half. Look at what Pep has done. 6 big, strong centre half, just physically used. He's done the same thing what Pep has done.
Apollo's off again. Apollo's there and again. We love you, Apollo.
He said, agree, Andy. Arteta showed Jesus up front, which has never worked.
I don't know if the Jesus thing is the thing. I think Arteta's game management needs work.
Yeah.
His game management is just not there. In the game, making changes to decide a game, most times he doesn't make the right move. Or he panics.
Okay.
Put on a bunch of forwards.
So we got Brentford in 6th place. Obviously beat Crystal Palace.
That was an interesting game. Did you see Eze's free kick that got disallowed?
Oh, he's got to be gutted about that, hasn't he?
Such a shame.
It wasn't a foul either.
And it wasn't a foul. I know the ref got it wrong.
Yeah, got it wrong.
And apparently the ref has apologised to Eze, but it's not a lot of use now, really, is it?
Yeah, exactly. That's good. Why is no one pursuing Eze?
Well, they are, but Palace wanted 60 million cash down. No one's paying that in this climate.
We're not selling him then. That's what they're saying. We're not selling him. Because no one's going to pay you 60 million cash. People buy things on consignment. I'm not consignment.
I think with a lot of this, look, we've seen this over and over, season in, season out. You wait until the last week, don't you? Yeah, when the club says we want 60 million, and then you wait till the last minute. Because don't forget, we bought Thomas Partey on the last day.
Tony, I don't agree with Palace though. That's same with Palace with Zaha.
Apparently, that's all we need to do for Nico Williams. He just paid the buyout clause.
Yeah, for Nico probably, but if he wants to come,
if he wants to come,
I'm not sure he wants to come. But we should go after Nico Williams. Nico Williams is brilliant. He can replace Martinelli.
Yeah, he is. He was very impressive in the Euros, no question about that.
He looks like he can't cut. He's ridiculous, and he makes good decisions in the final third too. It's not like he's just going to beat you and not know what to do. Actually, it'd be a good buy for us.
Yeah, it would change. To me, much though I think Isak would be the one. I would take it. I would take Nico Williams at the drop of a hat, and I would expect us to win the league.
Well, he's a game changer, isn't he? He's a game changer.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we get both, Tony? We just violate FFP for 1 year, like Man City has done for a year. We fight him in court for the next 10 years, and
give him an 18-year contract or something. Yeah,
exactly.
So you lot are right.
Newcastle had a win on day one.
Newcastle played an hour of that match with 10 men. Yeah, the Fabian Schär was sent off in the first half, and they were 0-0. But well, that was hard.
I mean, it was very harsh because the thing is, both players came together.
Diaz wound him up, didn't he? Diaz wound him up.
Yeah, but the fact that what was his name? He just dropped to the ground like he was really nutty.
Yeah, Brereton Diaz.
At a nightclub, come against the wrong guy, and he's been nutted. That's the way he acted. I just thought when I saw him drop, I thought, "Oh, are you serious? This is embarrassing." I felt embarrassed for the guy's family. You can't drop like that. You both come together. Your heads both come together. It's not hard or malicious. Yeah. But as soon as it starts, I'm dead. It's like, no, come on, man.
I think there's a difference between where's the player from? He's from South America. The player that fell. Where's he from?
I think so.
He's at Chile. He's Chilean, anyway. He was at Blackburn last year. Yeah.
The difference between the European perspective and South American perspective. One is you're cheating. One is about witty.
Yeah.
I'm married too. You touched me. Hey, somebody showed me. Was it that Tony who showed me this? a player in South America.
Yeah.
We got Tony. Remember that one you showed me? Like the worst ever, guys. The worst ever.
They
Then he got
just
hurt.
can't act.
The
They
worst
just
ever.
can't
The worst
act.
ever. The worst ever.
But it was enough to fool the referee.
Yeah.
What I thought the Wolves player against us should have gotten probably a red card, but he put his hand around. Was it Jesus' neck?
Yeah.
That's a red card.
Yeah,
He pulled away at the last. He pulled away subsequently, but it should be a red card. That was a red card.
I know. You know what?
Did he touch him on his right hand? Like really?
Yeah, but what the thing is,
not getting
you have to ask-
decisions.
Yeah, but what is violence? What's considered as violence in football?
When you do
Because
like
I've
this
seen
to
lots
me,
of
that's
stuff.
violence. When you do like this to me, that's violence. That's violence.
Not to the ref though, not to the ref, and yet what's his name? Who felt like a sack of spuds? That was violence, and I'm thinking,
The
Yeah.
headbutt was like Pepe's headbutt. Didn't Pepe play Leeds and he supposedly headbutted the player, which really wasn't much of a headbutt, but he did move his head forward. He got a red card.
yeah, but the things both players, if you look at it again, both players put their heads.
They put their head forward. Yeah, but one was harder than the other though. One was a little bit harder than the other. Yeah.
What's our thoughts, guys, on
Debatable,
Kieran
man. Very
Trippier?
debatable.
Kieran Trippier being potentially linked with a move out of
Everton. Apparently he wants out of Newcastle, and he's apparently been linked with Everton. I've heard, but
Yeah, that was the latest thing that was said about
Are
Trippier.
things in the Newcastle garden going a little bit pear shaped now for Eddie Howe?
no, I think Trippier's. I think Livramento's going to probably start more games, I imagine, for Newcastle this season.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
if
I think
you're at this age, you're just like, I got to play football before I retire. So why am I going to be on the bench? Not doing that.
Mm.
Right?
Okay.
also going back, it's his neck of the woods as well, isn't it? Trippier, he started off in Burnley, didn't he? So I think he's going back to sort of near where he wants to go, I think.
Mhm. Bournemouth's got a draw. Leicester got a draw.
Yeah, Bournemouth, Spurs, Leicester, they're all on the same, aren't they? They're all 1-1 draws.
Forest got a
With
draw.
Forest, yeah, with Forest.
Okay, I'm gonna cut at this point and have a little interlude. I want to have a little humorous interlude. I've got something for us to look at. I want somebody to give me their lowdown, and not Andy, because you're a striker. What happened here, bros? What happened?
Oh
here,
yeah.
That was just embarrassing.
You can't explain it. There's no excuse. There's no excuse.
It goes down as, I mean, it's funny because now, because of that miss, I've seen a trend this week of people putting up trends of the worst misses of all time, and there are some great ones in there. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo has missed a sitter from 2 yards out. Edin Dzeko,
Ronnie Rosenthal, kicking it over.
Yeah, but yeah, it just made me think. You know,
You know what happened on the play, right? You know what happened, right? He thought the keeper was out of the play. He did glance, but I'm not sure what he was glancing at.
But the fact he just tapped it though, just bury it, man.
I'm just saying, he thought the keeper was out of the play, so he had all day. So look at it now.
Yeah, just bury it, man.
No, go back to it. Go back to it. Let's look at this. So he won it the keeper's way of field. He glanced.
Just bury it. Look, he just taps it.
And you know, he'd have missed it. He would have. No, go back, Tony. Freeze it. I think he missed. I think he missed. No, I'm dead serious. I think he missed. Look. Slow it down and freeze it. I think he missed.
Yeah,
I can't freeze
the angle that he kicks the ball at. Yeah, it's a bad angle. Yeah.
He missed. Why is he going back across goal when it goes in front of him?
How many attempts did he get? Justin? It was 3 attempts, wasn't it?
What's his name, Mr. Goal? Garnacho, did he miss one for Man U too?
Yeah, he missed a good chance. Yeah.
I think it was an open goal, actually. Yeah.
So
that might be the trend this season.
So Andy, as a centre forward, have you ever missed any goals like that?
I probably. I don't remember, but I probably have. We all miss better chances, but yeah, it's happened at some point, probably. No doubt, if I said no, someone would message in and say, "I remember that time against whatever." Yeah. So,
yeah.
That's a bad miss too. When you they were up 1-0 then.
So
sorry.
Chelsea obviously are playing Europa Conference football this season. Spurs, you in Europe?
We're in Europa League, yeah.
Europa League. There we go. Yeah.
Arsenal United have got Thursday night football. Chelsea are playing in West Ham's plate competition.
Yeah, I was looking.
So
at
they
Arsenal
should win
financials.
that. They should win that.
They summarized Arsenal financials, and we've gone over 100 million for the first time from gate receipts because of
The unfortunate thing for us as a nation is that Chelsea will undoubtedly win that Conference League. They have got so much talent at Chelsea that
I picked them to be top four. I picked them to be top four. I think they'll make top four. If you think about their team, guys, if they have Neto one wing and Palmer the next wing, and Kungu in the 10, they have Caicedo and Lavia. I'm not playing Fernandes in my team. And they have a bunch of people on the bench who are very good players. They need to get a center forward. If they get Osimhen, they have a dynamic front six.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, they lost in the week. This player, it was a big loss for them. Obviously, a very impressive set of statistics from last year. He had the most touches, the most possession won, most duels won, most fouls conceded, most fouls won, most interceptions, the second most chances created in the team, second most big chances created, and the second most assists. That's going to take some replacing, isn't it?
Yeah, but does anybody know why he left?
Because
because they wanted to meet the profit and sustainability rules, and he was sheer profit because he came through the academy. So that's a clear make on their PSR.
He was their best player though. He was one of their best players.
It's insane. It's insane planning for the future. It's mad. It's why they're getting rid of Chilwell, Sterling. They're all players they think they can get money for, presumably.
It just proves the point that football is a business now. It's not a sport.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
So I don't know what the strategy is. I'm not going to say it's insane because these are venture capital guys, and I hear Simon Jordan talking about them. That's the only people you have respect for, and there's a reason to have respect for them. Having said that, I don't know what the strategy is. I understand the individual years you need to meet FFP requirements. So if you buy something for $100 million over a 10-year contract, it's only 10 years to go to your expense. And if you sell Gallagher for 30, then you have $20 million profit on those one transaction, and you can apply that to the number of transactions. But as Andy's alluding to, over the years, going to catch up to you eventually. And I keep spinning this wheel. There's almost players you can be able to sell, won't give you 100% profit. We can then match up to the expense of other players who come due. So I'm not totally sure of the strategy, but they may have a strategy that we can't see, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, I mean, when we look at the
squad, it's money. It's just making money. That's their strategy.
When you look at that squad depth, I mean, a number of those players are now no longer at the club, but you still got Nkunku, Neto, and Mudryk in the left-hand slot. Sterling looks like he's gone. Palmer, Madueke, there's a question mark over Madueke. Gabriel, I think, is a youngster. Dewsbury Hall, Chukwuemeka.
Chukwuemeka is going to go, actually.
You think he's going? Yeah. And then up front, of course, Jackson, Gayu, who's the guy that missed the open goal. Broha's gone. Fofana, Washington, Lukaku's gone. And then in the midfield, you got Caicedo, Lavia, Fernandes. Gallagher's gone. Castaday is youngster. Matos is a youngster. Vega is a youngster. That's a lot of good players. That's a lot of talent.
They got 6 goalkeepers.
They have. That's mad.
No, I know. I heard that. Neil said something about making money. They're not making money in traditional sense, right? Premier League teams don't make money, apart from maybe a Brighton per se.
Yeah.
But it's not about the appreciation of the asset. So if I do continue to go like Man City, my value of my club is going to go up. I can sell it on for big money. And if you're a venture capitalist, you're supposed to hold it for 6-7 years and turn it over. We'll see what Boye and his team does. It may be a fun thing for them to have. But if you have other shareholders or other partners, they may want their money back at some point. I don't understand the strategy, to be totally honest. But I'm sure there's something that they're doing which we don't really see now. Some of these guys are brilliant. People don't seem to realize that. These guys are just ridiculously brilliant, and they have strategies. They have worked out the numbers. They worked out what they need to do. They're playing games with the numbers for now. It can catch up to them, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
It's interesting.
Right. So we've
Andy.
pretty much reviewed most of the teams now. Last week's results. We'll have a quick look at the predictions league that many of us are involved in. Apollo, myself, Neil, Andy, Drew, Dave, Ian, Webby, and Bertram. Cranky. As you can see,
Bertram.
the two guys that are leading the league are myself and Neil. Well done, Neil, for you for week 1.
Well
Salute
done,
you,
Tony.
my brother.
Yay.
My knees done high, bro.
There you
Broski.
go.
So yeah, it's early days. It's early days, but yeah. Andy, I believe, is on 6 points because he predicted one of the results, but didn't get the point for it. So he should be on 6 points. So we've got Andy on 6, Dave on Drew on 6, and Webby on 6, and then we've got Apollo on 5, Dave on 5, and Ian, Bertram on 5, and Ian on 4. I was the only one who got a couple of results right. I was the only one who predicted the Brighton, and I was the only one who predicted Leicester Spurs.
I predicted Brighton as well. That was the one that was missing from me.
You got nothing, Leicester Spurs.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. That was ridiculous. Spurs should have had 5-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
That's what Andy's team is doing.
I just felt that this game was going to be a little bit too early for Spurs to gel. I think in about 3 or 4 weeks, Spurs will be flying again. But
just in time for Arsenal.
Yeah. So literally everybody.
What does Spurs need to gel about? It's the same team apart from Solanke. What's the difference in the team? It's the same team. What's they need to gel? Brendan Johnson's been there. Son has been there. The midfield has been there. There's no gelling. The centre halves.
But they bought 4 players, so they need to gel those players.
But they're not all in the side.
No,
Solanke's the only one that's coming into the starting 11.
There's no gelling happening. It's the same team like last year apart from Solanke.
What's the story with Jed Spence? Because he was on your bench.
He
wasn't
played.
he?
He played.
He came on a sub.
He's back, he's back from loan. He's integrated in the pre-season, and he's obviously.
He looks like he's going to be. Part of
the he's now seen as. I think Postecoglou still has his doubts against Spence. There's been rumours that we've been linked with Vanderson from Monaco, the Brazilian right back. We've been linked with him, but I'm not sure we'll pay the money before the window closes. So Jed Spence might be around for a few months. But if Vanderson comes in, they'll probably get rid of Spence, I imagine. But we'll see.
I remember we played Spence in was it the League Cup or the FA Cup 2 or 3 years ago, and he was brilliant against us actually.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He had a brilliant season for Nottingham Forest the year they got promoted. Yeah. He was brilliant, but he hasn't really been given a chance at Tottenham. But apparently he had a bit of an attitude problems. Apparently Postecoglou said his attitude's much better now. But I'm still not sure they're convinced about him. But
the bench does that. The bench is a very equalizer.
Yeah.
Just so I can let Apollo know. Apollo, you forgot to put Emerson on the Predictor League chart. So next time when you get a chance, can you ensure Emerson's on there? So I don't know how many points you got, Emerson, but we'll obviously make sure that for next week we ensure that you're on that list. And we can also see how you're progressing this season. If you know how many points you got this weekend, stick it in the chat and I'll shout it out. Big up to Paul in the chat as well. Thank you very much for joining us.
Girl on City 115 charges.
So where do we go from here? So we are left with talking about this weekend's games. Tomorrow, Brighton Man United, very exciting game for the 12:30 game. Live on TNT Sports for those who wish to watch. Guys who go round, Neil, Cranky, Andy, give us your results. You probably put them in the Predictor League already. But if you could just let me know what you predicted and any thoughts on that game. Starting with you, Neil.
With the Man U Brighton game, I put them down. Put that down for United to win. I just have this thing that United are not going to play that great, but they're going to get results anyway, as they did last week. And I can see them. Brighton should realistically beat them, but I just can't see it at the moment.
Okay, Cranky.
2-2.
Okay, Andy.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think it might be a draw, but I'm going to go for a Brighton win because I have a feeling that they're having a good start to the season, so I'm gonna go with a Brighton win. But I wouldn't be shocked if Man United got a draw. I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, so I've gone for a draw. I've gone for a 1-1. Next game is Crystal Palace at home to West Ham. I'll start with you, Cranky.
2-1 West Ham.
Andy.
Palace.
Okay, I've gone with a 2-2 draw. Neil, what have you gone for?
I've gone for a 1-1 draw.
Okay,
Oh, sorry, am I supposed to be giving scores?
You don't
I'll go.
It's a draw. I got it down as a draw.
Yeah, I got it down as a draw as well. Andy, I'll start with you. Fulham at home to Leicester.
Fulham.
Fulham win for you. I've gone for a draw again, so I've got 3 draws up. Neil?
I've actually got that as a draw as well.
Cranky?
Fulham.
Win. Okay.
Nice.
We can skip the next one.
Yeah, if anyone hasn't got Man City absolutely slapping Ipswich, then put your hand up. But yeah, I don't think there's any dispute on that one. So we'll go to Southampton at home to Forest. Difficult one to choose, I thought, but I think it's interesting because Forest just seem to do so much business. They've got their rich backers, and they have no fear going into the transfer market. And they've done it again. They've gone and, secured some really good players, I believe. So I've gone for a Forest win away from home, 2-1. Neil, what's your thoughts?
I've gone for a draw again. I've got a lot of draws this week.
Wow. Cranky?
Forest 2-1.
Okay. And Andy?
Southampton.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. Andy, I'm quite interested.
I've got a lot of time for Russell Martin. I think Russell Martin's quite a good coach,
Okay.
and I think they did quite well at Newcastle last week without getting basically scoring. Newcastle did well with the 10 men, but I have a feeling Southampton will do the best of the promoted clubs.
Okay.
So we'll wait and see. But I'm gonna tip Southampton for that one.
Cool. I see, Emerson, you started putting your scores in. He's got Forest to win that one 3-1, like myself. Forest win. The next one is going to be Spurs at home to Everton. Cranky?
3-1 Spurs.
Okay, that's interesting. Emerson has got exactly the same score. Andy? Do I need to even ask?
Well, I still think we might struggle in front of goal. So 2-0.
Okay, I've gone for 3-0 to Spurs. And Neil?
2-0 to Spurs.
Okay, cool. The next game is Villa at home to Arsenal, which is the late kickoff on Sky. I'll start with you, Andy.
1-1. Draw.
Oh, a draw.
I have gone for 2-0 to Arsenal. I think there'll be a goal. It might be 0-0 at half time and then get the 2 goals in the second half after a tight first half. Neil, what's your thoughts?
I don't think this will be a high-scoring game at all. I think Arsenal win 1-0.
Okay, and Cranky?
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. Emerson's gone for 2-2. Then we move on to
Bournemouth, Newcastle is next.
Sunday game. So, Bournemouth is the first game on Sky. Bournemouth at home to Newcastle. I have gone for Newcastle to win 2-1. Neil, what's your thoughts?
Another draw.
Another one, bloody hell. Frankie?
2-1 Newcastle.
Yeah, you joined me on that one. Andy?
1-0 Newcastle.
Okay. Emerson, if you can put yours in. Oh, there we go. He's gone 3-1 Newcastle. Excellent. Okay, the next game is Wolves at home to Chelsea. Pedro Neto returns to his old club. Neil, what's your thoughts?
Chelsea 2-0.
Chelsea 2-0. That's interesting because I've gone with Chelsea 2-0 as well. Cranky?
Chelsea 2-1. Wolves were good. Wolves was very good against us, actually. Even though we weren't doing it. So.
And Andy?
1-1. Draw.
Wow, okay. 1-1. And the last game of the day sees Liverpool at home to Brentford. Cranky, I'll start with you.
2-0 Liverpool.
Okay, Andy?
I got 3-1 Liverpool.
Okay. I will go. I've got 3-0 to Liverpool. And Neil?
2-0 Liverpool. Still trying to work out the slot at the moment. So 2-0 Liverpool.
Okay. And Emerson has gone for 3-1 to Liverpool. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our predictions for the week coming.
When's the transfer window?
On the 30th at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Friday night. Closes Friday night.
Is it a night closure or a daytime closure? Because I don't know why.
No, it's night. It's always the transfer window.
It's
I think it's
normally night, yeah.
I think it's 11 o'clock Friday night, I think.
Okay.
Got me a lot of scrambling. I seen everybody said 2 weeks in the last 2 weeks of the week now.
You know, the interesting thing is you look around the global market and you see there's a lot of players who are sitting on the edge of their seat going, I'm ready for that move.
Yeah.
You know who I'm surprised I haven't seen too much interest in? Jadon Sancho.
Yeah.
I think PSG was interested at
It
first.
comes with a lot of baggage, doesn't he? That's the problem.
He was good for Dortmund last year, which is interesting. Right?
That is my point. He was good. Returning back to Dortmund, I'm thinking to myself.
Yeah, you asked why Dortmund take him on loan again. Yeah. Because Ten Hag probably still hasn't forgiven him.
I wonder whether Man United.
I'm going to ask the question of each of you. One player for your club. Who you got? I guess everybody knows mine is Isak, but failing that, Nico.
I mean, one player for your club right now in terms of what you need. Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you choosing, Neil?
I can't because I don't think we need a player, to be honest.
Really?
That's why you have done in the business.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. For me, it's kind of difficult because
Would you not want a midfielder?
That's what I'm thinking. A creative midfielder.
Do you know, no. Yeah, we do need one, but at the end of the day, it's what Slot wants. Yeah, what he wants.
No, but I want to know what you want. I want to know if you were controlling the strings, the purse strings, money no object. Which player do you think you could realistically get that would make a game-changing addition to your
That's
squad?
not a fair question. You said Isak. We can't get Isak.
Who does Neil Slot want?
Slot him in. Slot the player in. Slot him in. Slot him in.
Oh, slot machine, yeah, slot machine. To be honest, I'm not personally. I'm not sure because we sold a couple of players. I mean, we got rid of players like Thiago. Do you know I'm happy just to move Trent up in midfield and have Bradley at the back. I'm happy for that because at the end of the day, whoever Slot brings in, you have to warm them into the team. They have to fit. I know he's working on the midfield, but I don't know. I just can't.
You're just sitting on the fence, Neil. You're sitting on the fence. Yeah. Don't get splinters in your arse, will you?
Hold on. Oh, there we go. There's one. No.
Right, let's move on because we can't be sitting on this fence. Let's go, Cranky.
Awesome, man. We said realistic targets. Isak is not realistic because Newcastle is not selling him.
Okay.
Awesome is realistic. The question is, will they drop their price? I want some of the stretch defenses because the way we keep possession football, if I stretch defense, I have more space to play.
Okay.
Right?
Cool.
And I have more balls. I want a center forward that's big, strong, quick, good in the air, run the channels. We get Osimhen, I think we win the league. Yeah, still pick us to win because I'm parochial that way, but I think we get Osimhen, we win the league.
Cool. Andy.
I think we need a defensive central midfield player. So we've been linked with Locatelli, which I think Arsenal were looking at 2 or 3 years ago. But we've been linked with him. We've also been linked with Ramsey at Villa, but I don't think Villa will sell Ramsey to us. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure he's necessarily better than what we've got, to be honest.
Yeah.
But he would work with the homegrown quota, so that would help that. And we have had a problem with that in recent years. But yeah, I want to see a defensive central midfield player. In an ideal world, I'd have another centre half as well, but we probably won't get that, I don't think, in this window. So yeah, defensive central midfield is most important.
So who are your players there at the moment? Because
we've sold.
Basuma.
Well, if you look at last season, we've sold Heiberg and Skip. We've sold both of them.
Okay.
So we're short in central midfield because they were both part of our central midfield depth. We've got Sarr, we've got Basuma, we've got Bentancur, we've got that's the defensive sort of side of things.
Yeah.
But we've also brought in Archie Gray, who is in there as well. Yeah. But he's only 18. But yeah, he's there. But I think we need another defense. If we're going to play Europe Thursday nights, Sundays in the league, cup competitions, we're going to need another defensive central midfield player, I think.
So if I was the manager of Spurs, I need a dynamic right winger. I don't think your two right wingers are differentiators.
Well, yeah, but I don't. You said realistically, and you said one that we have to have, and I think we do need another defensive central midfield.
Get Coleman on loan.
Who?
Coleman on loan.
Kingsley Coleman from Bayern.
Kingsley Coleman. Yeah. He's good. I'd take Sterling, like you said. I'd take Chilwell at left back. I'd take these guys as cover for Udogie, but I don't think Spurs are going to pay out big wages for backups. I can't see it happening.
Well, I think Sterling come in and Kingsley Coleman come in. They start on the right. I don't think Brendan Johnson or Kulusevski will keep them out.
Yeah. I mean, I want to give. Brennan Johnson's young. I want to give him time to prove himself. One season to get used to a move to a big club. He's still very young. I'll give him another season. But for me, he's got to start producing this season more than he has been. I've got my doubts whether he's got the quality to do it, but we'll wait and see. But I hope he does. I genuinely want him to succeed.
I watched him and Morgan Gibbs-White, right?
Yeah.
At a similar time. He came, I think, a subsequent year to Morgan Gibbs going to Nottingham Forest. I didn't think both of them deserved their price. Morgan Gibbs-White have made a lot of improvement. I haven't seen Brendan Johnson make the same improvement.
Well, Gibbs-White apparently is the other person we've been linked with in the midfield. So, but I don't.
Very dynamic. Very dynamic. Athletic, dynamic. Yeah, I think he's quality. Yeah.
We'll see.
Cool.
So tell me you have pick Isak, okay, which we can get.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no way Newcastle sells him.
There's. I like to think that if Arsenal are talking the big talk that they could buy anybody, because they're saying they could get Nico Williams. If you could pay for Nico Williams and pay the salary, you can get Isak. I'm pretty certain.
Nico Williams is
the money you could pay
51 million pounds.
Williams would get.
No. He's released. He's half the amount of it. Newcastle would want 100 million. Would want 100 million for Isak. Easy.
Same money, and it's gonna be same wages. Because if Isak is moving, you gotta give him a raise, and he's gonna be acting the same money.
I've heard Victor Gyökeres mentioned for you guys. I don't know whether that's likely to happen or not, but
something mil, wasn't it? Or sending something mil.
Emerson mentioned that, and he is someone that could move. The player that nobody's mentioned him today, but it just baffles me why nobody will take a punt on him. Federico Chiesa.
Yeah, well, Spurs were linked with him, but I think that was more his agents trying to talk up a move rather than Spurs actually being interested in him. He's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, when a player like is being put to work, play with the under 23, and it's not a money move, I don't know why I would have been to buy him. He hasn't put. What has he done for Italy in the last couple of years since the Euros?
He was fantastic up until the Euros, but he's had an ACL injury, and often players lose something when they've had one of those, come back from one of those injuries. But
Definitely, I totally agree with that. ACLs are killers.
Tony, if you're talking about Nico Williams, you might as well just go for the one at Forest, yeah?
No, we want Nico Williams. No, we want Nico Williams.
We want the real,
We want the real Nico Williams, not imitation. We don't want the fraud.
Go for the one at Forest.
well, the ex-Scouser.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, thank you very much for your time this evening. It's been very interesting. We've had a lot of chat about a lot of different situations. As I said, the next 7 days for me are going to be hell. This time next week, we'll be in the final hours. You know, imagine this time next week.
The window will have just closed.
Arsenal lost. Well, no, it will still be open because it's 11:30. So,
Yeah, but it's shutting at 11.
Emerson says it finishes
Oh,
at
midnight. Okay, fair enough.
And Emerson's quite in the know. So
why are you in the nuts, Tony? Because we already done our acquisition. Anything if we get, as Jamaica in Jamaica, is additions, right? It's not like imperative. So
yeah.
But
I'll
yeah,
get it.
I'm hoping that we actually buy a player. We've just been selling players, but I hope we actually buy a player.
What do
Why?
we
You
think?
don't need anyone.
What do
Why
we
you wanna buy a
think if
player? You don't need
Chelsea?
anyone.
What do we think if Chelsea actually get Osimhen? Do we think they're now top 4 material?
They're already top 4 material.
They're already top 4.
Yeah, they're already top 4.
I'm not sure about their defence. I'm not sure about their defence. They've lost Silva. They've got great midfielders and attackers, but I'm not sure about their defence.
I mean, look at that list of names: Cucurella, Colwill, Badiashile.
No, that's Chilwell, isn't it?
No, forget
Yeah,
Chilwell. He's gone.
Yeah.
Cucurella, Colwill, Badiashile, Fofana. They're saying Disasi's going.
Castro's actually pretty good, you know. I like
Chalobah's
They have
going.
good right backs. They have good left backs.
Gusto, yeah.
Yeah.
So
James
he's
is a
really good.
signal.
James gonna come back. He's had a red card last season. They have a good team. They have a lot of good players.
Mm.
Lot
Are
of
they
good
not?
players.
Are they not a little bit? Have they bought a left back? Because that just seems a little bit like madness to get rid
Caldwell
of
can play
Chilwell.
out there. That's why probably Caldwell can cover.
Okay,
They need another left back, but Caldwell
they
can cover.
do, yeah.
As Andy's alluding to, the centre half is where they have problems. Centre half is not the greatest.
They've lost Thiago Silva is a real leader and a real experienced guy, and they've lost him. And they've got lots of very good young centre backs, but I'm not sure those young centre backs will have the experience to go through a whole Premier League season. But we'll wait and see.
Yeah,
I mean, let's
Steven
not
Gerrard
forget
last
they
week.
also lost a couple of seasons ago. Rudiger.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't lose Rudiger. Yeah, they lost a few players. Yeah, Rudiger, Christensen, they lost a bunch of. Well, they just add and subtract, so it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
They come.
I noticed Spurs have been linked with Christensen at Barcelona now. That I'm not sure it's going to happen before the end of this window, but we've been linked with him as well.
Emerson, I'm not saying their centre halves are great. I'm saying they have very good right backs in Gusto and James. Cucurella did well in the Euros, but he can be skinned easily. Centre half, I said, is where they have challenges. Their centre halves are the challenges. Fofana is injury prone. Colwell is still green. They have challenges at centre back, but their midfielders and their forward line, apart from the centre forward, which is where they challenge. Jackson's still green.
You can say that about a lot of teams. Arsenal,
Well, you got Solanke.
Chelsea, Spurs.
65 million, you can't say you have problems at centre forward. You have a Brazilian centre forward.
But we've bought one, but whether we don't know yet that he is going to be the answer. It's the jury is still out at the moment because he's only just joined.
Okay, guys, I'm just gonna say this could have affected us. See, this is why I hate the transfer window. I've literally just got the goals have just come up on my screen. Victor Gyokeres has scored a hat-trick tonight. In 4 games,
Price
he
went back
scored
up.
6 goals and 3 assists. That's 9 GA in 4 games this season.
Yeah,
This
he's playing in
kid-
a pub league. Can he play in a pub league?
He wants to move. He wants to move.
He's,
He's playing in a pub league.
somebody
That's
has to take a punt on this kid because the money's right. The money is not
What is it,
big.
60 something mil?
Yes,
It was
not
80,
bad.
wasn't it? I think it dropped, actually.
Wow.
I think they had an 80 something buyout clause and so they can get it for 60 bucks.
Wow.
He would probably go before the transfer window is out.
Somebody has got to look at that kid and go, he's got to be worth a punt.
Even if it's a pub league, he's still
And,
scoring.
and talking about goals tonight, if you haven't seen it, look out for an absolute thunderbolt from Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Xhaka's been playing really well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Xhaka's been playing brilliant football. Brilliant.
Who thinks Arsenal would have won the league last season if they kept Xhaka?
Not me.
I don't know. We lost the league between 2 Villa games and West Ham. So I don't know. Would he have made a difference in those games? Possibly. But we still need that 9. If we had a 9, we win the league. We need a 9.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been trying to shut it off, but yeah, last bit. So any final comments?
Oh yeah, Gundogan's gone back to City.
Yeah.
As if they didn't need anyone
of
else.
course.
Where is he going to play? They already have 5
Well,
midfielders.
Just adds to their brilliance, doesn't it? It adds to their quality.
Yeah, and they bought Savino, so they have Savino who's brilliant coming in.
Yeah.
Gungo.
And it wouldn't shock me if City went and got out a backup striker as well. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I wonder if
with
they
Alvarez
have
going-
Grealish on the team. Because Grealish is not going to get any game time.
Mm.
I don't see how he gets game time. Not when you
He
have
plays in the
Foden playing.
Carabao Cup. He plays in the Carabao Cup.
I was going to say he'll get games in like the FA Cup. and
He's
Carabao.
£100 million, Tony.
Listen, he plays where Pep tells him to play. Yeah.
Right beside Pep on the bench. That's where he is.
All right,
Someone
guys,
has to get
listen,
warm in the winter months, isn't it?
have a great weekend.
Come
This weekend-
come to Spurs, Jack. Come to Spurs, Jack. We'll love you. Take it easy.
Enjoy.
See you later, fellas.
Go to Carnival. It's Carnival weekend here. It's a bank holiday weekend. Monday off. I've got about 20 minutes before I start watching the Dolphins, who are playing Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the last preseason game. But yeah, catch you guys next week, hopefully.
See you later.
And everyone in the chat, thank you very much for joining us.
Cheers, guys.
Good one, Jen.
See you later.
Yeah. See you later.
See you later.